Namaste, Jai Bharat. This is about the Waqf. It's only very recently that we happen to hear the stories of Waqf. But Waqf was in existence maybe from 1950s. And there was a strengthening movement of the Waqf board in 1995 or so. Then in 2013. But why after 2021-22 the suddenly Waqf becomes active? Let's see what the Waqf sees in simple terms. Waqf speaks about the property of Allah. That is, if a person can produce two witnesses, or the Waqf board can produce two witnesses who would say that this person has said et verbatim, no documents required, nothing required, et verbatim he said that my property is going to Waqf, since Allah, I am donating this to Allah, that's it. No documentation needed, nothing needed, only two witnesses who would claim so that this man said this, and that's it. And then suppose you have a dispute. Suppose you have a dispute that this really is not the case, then you can't go to court. You can at the most go to the Waqf tribunal, and which has a member, or there is a Maulavi also. And the government has to pay for this Maulavi to become a member of this tribunal. And the tribunal, whatever they say is final. You can't go to high court. You can go to higher courts upon the decision of the tribunal. Now, can there be such laws anywhere in the world? This is the first time. Most people did not know about this Waqf laws, and most people are not affected till recent times. And why suddenly this happens? See, it was right from the 50s, after Bharat has been partitioned. The property of Allah remained in Bharat teams, and people kept donating. It's not necessary that you to be Muslim. You need not to be Muslim. Anyone can say that my property belongs to Allah, and two witnesses with retrospective effect. That's sufficient. Another thing, suppose someone was using your place on rent or something for some time. Even that person can vouch the property to Waqf, in spite of the fact that it's not his property, he has only the user's right. Even he can do this. Now, what kind of a law it is in a nation like Bharat? We are not aware of it. This was not popular. All these things were going on under curtain, and now it has to come out. Why? Why only suddenly in 2021, 22, 23 it started coming out? Because the law somewhere from 1950 it started. It's coming into existence. Waqf board, the Waqf tribunal, the Waqf Maulavis who was in the tribunal, and the unquestionability about the law, the ruling of the tribunal. All these things were there right from that time. In 1995, the Congress government again, all these things done by Congress government only, they have strengthened by this Waqf rule. And in 2013, when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the puppet Prime Minister of Bharat, the Congress has further strengthened the Waqf rule, Waqf norms, Waqf law, or the Waqf principles and ordinances, etc. They have re-strengthened it. So many new things were added into it and kept. But then Waqf was not claiming anything, it went on. But suddenly in 2014, Narendra Modi government came into existence. Okay. They thought in 19 they will go. That was just an accident. BJP coming into power is an accident. But 1919 it got repeated with further strength. Then they thought next time one more election, they won't come. But again, with all the struggle of many such people, including deep state and the Congress telling all lies and all kinds of things during election, BJP again started ruling. Now, the Waqf, the group, there are people behind it. There's a section of people behind it who actually deny other Muslims except the Sunnis. That's also an interesting point. Other Muslims, other than the Sunni Muslims, others have no right to Waqf. So they are also there, and except this group, no one else is benefited. And these group, they felt threatened that now the Congress may not come in power. Whatever they had been planning, plotting, and creating is now facing threat. Then they got scared that they anticipated that the Waqf law may be changed by BJP government. Therefore, they started putting claims on all kinds of places, so that if it is changed, when the Waqf law, if it is changed, they could go to court. When they go to court, they can cite all the examples. Such a nefarious kind of activities done in our parliament by the Congress politicians, and it's a kind of treachery to the people of this nation. You create such laws, and these laws are created in 2013. Manmohan Singh amendment, no one knew. They had done it, everything undercover, and very secretly, and got the thing passed. Got the thing passed in Parliament. And there are 13, BJP had no say in the Parliament. They have got it done without anyone's knowledge. They just got it passed. Whereas the Citizen Amendment Act, any such act by Modi government, is first put in the website for people to see, understand, and react. Give an opportunity to people for their opinion. It's only after all those things it will be discussed in Parliament. So here at least the government is trying to do things very transparently, and these Waqf people, they have done it all behind the curtain. Behind the curtain, with nobody knowing what's happening, with the ulterior aim of owning majority land property of Bharat in the hands of the Muslims. Muslims is only one section of Muslims, that's Sunni Muslims, and that also doesn't affect Muslims per se. This group of people who hold land property, and actually they use it. Allah is not going to use this property, the income, etc. They use it, and they use it for whichever purpose you can imagine. And what may be the revenue of the Waqf property? Just see what may be the revenue of the Waqf property. The Waqf's property, next to the Bharatiya Rail and Bharatiya Sena, next to the Indian Rail and Indian Army, the third is Waqf, which has got large area of property. It's all amassed during this time, and I don't think that people have voluntarily donated these things to Allah to this extent. No, not likely. They have claimed without making publicity. They have claimed and started possessing, and the government always stood by them in support of it. And if you ask Waqf, initially they were telling we have 100 crores of income only, which is not the case, because this money is not assessed, their income is not taxed, their property is not recorded. There is no, the government doesn't know how much of property they have, and the government doesn't know how much the money is, how much is their income, and the government doesn't know how much they spend on what. Actually, though they say that the house is only 100 crores, and then they should maybe up to 100 crores we have, they said, but their income is between 12,000 to 15,000 crores per annum. This is the figure, and this money they spent on instances like Shahanbagh, the CEA strike, wherever the fund is required for movements by the some people against Bharat, these people are there to fund. And the Waqf is always there, because the Waqf can take away any property and it can be questioned. It can't go to court. You can go to tribune, and tribune, there is one of the members of the tribune is supposed to be Maulavi. I know Hindus, no non-Muslims. What else do you expect from the tribune? And you are not appealable. You can't appeal against the tribune. If somebody puts a board in your property, somewhere you put a board that this is, simply put, this Waqf property, then that is Waqf property. To say that that's not Waqf property becomes your business. You have to prove that it's not theirs. Not that they have to prove it's theirs. Such kind of funny laws. Look at the Congress leaders. No wonder they have sidelined Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And even after his demise, they have insulted him to whichever extent they could do. And that time, the character of that time leaders, who were of course Congress people at that time. And the people of Bharat loved Congress, looking at them positively. But these were the characters behind string pulling of Congress. Of now, these days, of course, things are very explicit. Who says what is known to you? But this is a story of Waqf. Very unfortunate. This money is spent on anti-Bharat activities and insurgencies by someone who has got control of this money, someone who is prominent in this board, which of course is Allah's money used for Allah's purpose, they would say. They would justify. What kind of a law? What kind of a law? Now, of course, the present Modi ji government is trying to make amendments, and the amendments are very, as far as I've read it, I've understood, the amendments are very genuine. For instance, you cannot do it with retrospective effect. Number one, only Muslims can donate their property to Waqf, and not just converted Muslims. Muslims who are converted at least for 5 years can do that. Then women don't have property rights in Islam. That is not accepted in the new law, because otherwise Islam, as per Islam, women don't get property. That's how they look at and treat women. And many such things, many such small amendments. You can't user can't vouch it for Waqf, and only Muslims can do it. Here, the other Muslims are included this time in the new law. This is only for Sunnis, and they don't care about the Shias or the Ahmadiyyas or whatever. There are many sects of Islam is there. They only focus on the Sunnis because they were doing it. So others are also brought under the understanding of Islam and Muslims, etc., etc., etc. So this change is for everyone. It should be for good, and at least spurious claims and this one-sidedness, high-handedness can vanish, can cease to exist. So till we come again with some other discussion. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.